Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Way of Growth. My name is Darmin, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about one of the most important things when it comes to emotional and mental health, and that is mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that's been gaining some serious popularity in the last few years. It tends to be tied in with meditation because both pretty much do the same thing, which is that it increases focus and concentration while helping to calm the mind. And if meditation is what you do at a specific time and at a specific setting, then mindfulness is what you do throughout your day to day. Not that you can't meditate throughout your day, but you're going to see the best benefits from it if you set off a certain time for meditation. Well, then you might be asking, what the heck is mindfulness and how can I practice it? Mindfulness is all about learning how to be in the present moment, but I'll get back to that idea in a second. When most people talk about practicing mindfulness, they're generally talking about doing one of two things. They're either talking about being mindful of a certain action that they're doing, or they're talking about being mindful of their thoughts and their emotions. An example of the first type of mindfulness would be to pay attention to your food when you're eating. What? Huh? Pay attention to my food? Now you might be thinking, well, how can I not be paying attention to my food when I'm eating? But hear me out for a second. When you're eating food, are you doing anything else at the same time? Are you thinking about your day? Are you watching TV? Are you listening to music? Are you reading anything? Are you eating right now? If you're doing anything else but focusing your entire attention on the food and the eating process, then you're not being mindful. Being mindful of your food means that you're paying attention to the temperature, the smells, the texture, the taste, and so on. All of your brain power is zeroed in on the food, and you become an observer. There's an ancient Zen proverb that says, when walking, walk. When eating, eat. It's a really simple concept, but one that many of us never really realize because we live our lives in our heads. We're either focused on the past or we're thinking about the future. The mind just bounces from one thing to the next. And just like that, we find ourselves old and withering away, wondering where life went. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Mindfulness teaches us to focus and live in the present moment. Understand this, the past is gone forever. It's never coming back. The end. And the future is just an idea, it's not reality. All that has ever been and all that ever will be is the present. When we focus on the present moment, we start to realize how beautiful it really is, and we start to learn how much of our stress is based on our thoughts. The quality of our minds is based on the thoughts that we have, which leads me to the second form of mindfulness, which is to pay attention to your thoughts and emotions. If you're driving home from work and someone cuts you off on the road, chances are you'll get a quick shot of frustration and anger. Most of us, and I used to be the same way, would then quickly react by yelling, cursing, tailgating, and mean mugging. But what mindfulness teaches us is to take a step back from that anger and all of those emotions, to gain control by creating a sense of detachment. And we stop becoming prisoners of negative emotions and instead become observers of them. So the way that you would do this is as soon as an emotion comes up, you would take a step back and observe that emotion. Just look at it. Oh, that's anger or sadness or anxiety or jealousy. And then simply observe. Watch the thoughts that follow, but don't engage in them. Now, what you might notice when you do this is that your thoughts will quiet down. What you want to do then at that point is simply watch the sensations going on throughout your body. Maybe there's an increase in temperature, or you're starting to sweat, or your heart is beating faster, or maybe your breath is shallower and quicker. Whatever it is, you simply watch the emotion instead of allowing it to control you. Now, I say simply, but it takes work. Think of mindfulness like any other skill. If you sit in front of a piano and you've never played before, then it's going to look very confusing. This is actually what I think every time I sit in front of one. But if you keep at it and slowly continue to push yourself on and on, then what you'll find is that it's going to get easier and easier. You start to understand the piano and which keys work together. You continue to get better and better, and then months or years down the road, you're able to play some really intricate music. Well, the same thing works for mindfulness. At first, it's going to be very hard to remind ourselves to watch emotions, especially those really strong ones. And scientifically speaking, the limbic brain, the emotional center of the brain, tends to overpower the rational brain when strong emotions come up. All rationality and logic seem to go out the door, which is why a lot of us have done or said things that we regretted after we finally calmed down. This is how the untrained mind works, and mindfulness teaches us to detach from those emotions and remain calm regardless of the situation. It strengthens your mind. And after a while, you start to notice that when these negative emotions come up, not only are they not as strong, but they don't last nearly as long. And you'll even reach a point where the emotion will go away almost as quickly as it came up. You see, after an emotion appears, it's our thoughts that give it power. So when someone cuts us off on the road and we start thinking how stupid they are and how we wish a cop would stop them and all these other negative thoughts, then that emotion is not only going to be stronger, but it's going to last longer. This is called rumination. And you see, you can't control the emotion itself. You have to understand that. You'll never get rid of anger, anxiety, sadness, stress, and all these other emotions. We're human beings, and emotions are a natural part of life. But learning how to control our thoughts, learning to simply observe the emotions, can allow us to gain control. And don't think that you should only be mindful of negative thoughts. Being mindful of positive thoughts is important too. Notice when you start to feel happy, excited, and loved. Watch that emotion. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. These emotions are what make life so beautiful. But there's an important lesson to be learned. Emotions are a passing sensation. They come and they go. But the problem is that many of us try to cling to positive emotions, and when they're gone, this causes us misery. We also try to stop or fight quote-unquote negative emotions, and when we do that, that also causes us misery. Not knowing that fighting that negative emotion is what's actually going to make it stronger. Mindfulness teaches us to let things be as they are. It teaches us that everything is as it should be, regardless of if you prefer it or not. And by practicing this, we're able to reach a sense of calm and peace within, and nothing can bother us. And by focusing on the present moment, life starts to become more fulfilling. We start to pay attention to the amazing things that life has to offer. No more judging the situation as good or as bad, but simply letting it be as it is. I know with myself how much of an impact it's had. I've been practicing mindfulness for about a half decade now, and the benefits are outstanding. A real sense of calm and peace throughout my daily life. But again, it didn't happen overnight. It takes time, just like any skill. Now, before we wrap up this video, here's a little overview of what we talked about. You can either be mindful by observing an action that you're doing, like eating or walking, or you can be mindful by observing your thoughts and your emotions. Mindfulness means to simply observe without judgment, and it helps us with concentration and to focus on the present moment. It also helps us reach a sense of calm and peace within. And that's it, folks. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you can apply mindfulness into your own life. As always, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.